In the depths of a remote forest, nestled far from civilization, lay Hollowbrook Manor, an imposing, long-forgotten mansion. The mere mention of its name sent shivers down the spines of the locals, who believed it to be cursed. Those who dared approach the mansion would tell chilling tales of spectral apparitions and eerie whispers that seemed to beckon them closer. On a moonless night in October, a group of 5 adventurous friends decided to spend the weekend at Hollowbrook Manor. Sarah, the fearless leader of the group, convinced her friends that this would be the ultimate test of their courage. With flashlights and sleeping bags in tow, they arrived at the mansion's entrance, its rusty gates groaning ominously as they swung open. Inside, the air grew thick with an unsettling presence. The grand hallway was adorned with faded portraits of long-deceased inhabitants, their eyes following the intruders with a haunting intensity. The group pressed forward, their steps echoing in the empty space. As the night deepened, strange occurrences began to unsettle them. Shadows danced on the walls, seemingly without a source. Unexplained drafts chilled the air, and the floorboards creaked beneath unseen footsteps. But the most terrifying event came when they gathered in the dilapidated dining room to share stories and snacks. In the midst of their laughter, the room plunged into darkness. Panic set in as they fumbled for their flashlights. Then, the room was bathed in a ghostly light. The source was an antique mirror that hung ominously on the wall. In its reflection, they saw themselves, but not as they were. Their faces contorted into grotesque masks of despair, mouths agape in silent screams. Desperate to escape the sinister mirror's gaze, they fled to the second floor. Their footsteps were drowned out by a cacophony of whispers that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. The voices grew louder, becoming a chilling chorus of sorrowful pleas, begging for release from an eternal torment. Terrified, they took refuge in a decaying bedroom. As they huddled together, they heard a voice, cold and spectral, whispering their names. It called to them, promising secrets that would change their lives. Sarah, despite her fear, couldn't resist the call and ventured out into the corridor, disappearing into the darkness. The remaining friends, paralyzed by fear, waited in dread. Time seemed to stretch, and then Sarah returned, her face pallid and eyes vacant. She uttered cryptic words that seemed to unlock hidden memories within her friends. They realized that they were not the first to fall victim to the mansion's curse, but the latest in a long line of unfortunate souls. With newfound determination, they decided to break the curse once and for all. Armed with old journals and dusty books they found in the library, they unraveled the tragic story of Hollowbrook Manor, a tale of betrayal, dark rituals, and restless spirits. The mansion had become a prison for vengeful souls seeking redemption. The group, guided by the knowledge they had uncovered, performed a ritual to set the tormented spirits free. It was a harrowing experience, filled with bone-chilling encounters, but their determination prevailed. As the last incantation was recited, the mansion trembled, and an otherworldly scream echoed through the corridors. With the curse lifted, Hollowbrook Manor began to crumble, and the spectral inhabitants were finally released from their eternal torment. The friends made their escape just as the mansion collapsed into ruins, leaving behind only the whispering wind and a sense of profound relief. But even as they drove away from the forsaken place, they couldn't shake the feeling that the spirits of Hollowbrook Manor had not left them entirely. The friends had become the guardians of a terrible secret, forever haunted by the memories of that fateful night when they dared to challenge the darkness that had plagued the mansion for centuries. Years passed, and the friends did their best to move on from the haunting experience at Hollowbrook Manor. They seldom spoke of that fateful night, and the memories faded into the recesses of their minds. Life took its course, leading them down different paths, careers, families, and new friendships. But the bond they formed in the face of unimaginable terror remained unbreakable. Yet, despite their efforts to forget, strange occurrences continued to follow them. It started with subtle signs, a flickering light, a chilling breeze on a warm day, or an eerie whisper on the wind. The friends exchanged nervous glances but brushed it off as mere coincidence. They were determined not to let the past cast a shadow over their lives. One by one, however, they began to experience vivid nightmares. Each night they were transported back to that accursed mansion, reliving the horrors they thought they had left behind. They would awaken, bathed in cold sweat, their hearts racing, haunted by the faces in the mirror and the desperate voices that still whispered in their ears. Their unity began to fray as the nightmares persisted. Sarah, the most affected of them all, withdrew from her friends and family, becoming a shadow of her former self. She was plagued by visions that only she could see, apparitions of the mansion's tormented spirits, beckoning her to return. In a desperate bid to end their suffering, the remaining friends reconnected. They sought the guidance of paranormal experts, psychics, and even priests, all of whom confirmed the lingering presence of the mansion's curse. The only way to break it, they were told, was to confront their fears head-on and return to the ruins of Hollowbrook Manor. Gathering their courage, the friends embarked on a final journey back to the forsaken place. The mansion's ruins, now overgrown with ivy and surrounded by an eerie stillness, greeted them like a malevolent specter of their past. Their hearts pounded as they ventured into the crumbling remains, guided by the haunting memories of that night. They reached the heart of the ruins, where the cursed mirror still stood, cracked but unbroken. With trembling hands, they recited the same incantation that had freed the spirits years ago. The room filled with an oppressive silence as their voices echoed through the desolation. As they finished the ritual, the ground trembled beneath them, and the air grew charged with an otherworldly energy. The spectral faces in the mirror contorted in anguish, and the whispers crescendoed into a cacophony of despair. The very walls of the mansion seemed to weep. But the friends stood firm, refusing to yield to the terror. They confronted their deepest fears, reconciling with the horrors they had faced and the guilt they had carried for so long. Slowly, the mirror began to crack, and a blinding light burst forth, consuming the room. When the light subsided, the mirror lay shattered, and the mansion was no more. The curse was finally broken, and the spirits that had haunted them were released to find their long-awaited peace. As they left the ruins, the friends felt a weight lift from their souls, and the nightmares ceased. Though scarred by their experiences, they had faced the darkness together and emerged stronger, their bond renewed. The memory of Hollowbrook Manor would forever haunt them, but it no longer held them captively. They left the forest behind, their hearts heavy yet filled with hope, as they continued their journey into the unknown, forever changed by the horrors they had faced and the courage they had found within themselves. Years passed, and the group of friends carried the scars of their ordeal at Hollowbrook Manor like badges of honor. They went on to lead separate lives, but their bond remained unbroken, a testament to their shared strength in the face of unimaginable terror. Sarah, who had been most affected by the curse, gradually recovered her old self. With the support of her friends, therapy, and time, the nightmares and visions that had plagued her finally ceased. She became an advocate for mental health awareness, using her experience to help others confront their traumas. The remaining friends, having faced the darkest of horrors together, found solace in their newfound courage. They channeled their experiences into various endeavors, from writing books to pursuing careers in psychology and the paranormal. They became experts in their respective fields, always ready to confront the unknown with unyielding determination. Despite their achievements, they never forgot the lessons they had learned at Hollowbrook Manor. They knew that darkness lurked in the corners of the world, and sometimes it could only be defeated by facing it head-on. Their shared journey had forged an unbreakable bond and a resolve to bring light to the shadows. And so, as the years continued to pass, their friendship remained a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of unity in the face of fear. The memory of Hollowbrook Manor served as a reminder that, in the darkest of times, even the most terrifying nightmares could be conquered by the strength of the human spirit.